Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On this episode, I'll be talking to my friend Patrick Miranda from the band Movements. We'll be talking about their latest album, RUCKUS, and a whole bunch of other things like Will Yip and anxiety. Let's go.
I don't want no bad times. I don't want to have bad.
Patrick.
What's up?
Movements.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How
Thanks
are you?
for coming. Good, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, I'm stoked you're here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
You know, I'm a fan of your band. I'm trying to think of when we first met.
Dude, it was 2016 or 2017.
Yeah.
We did that tour in Canada. You guys, Silverstein, Palais Royale, and us.
Yeah.
That was like our first ever like big tour. Like that was the first time that we were like, oh shit. Like a big band wants to take us on tour. That's insane.
Yeah, that was a great tour.
It was awesome. It was terrifying for multiple reasons. One of which being that it was like still very much kind of like winter time in Canada, and us being kind of like young guns still touring in like a van and trailer. There was some scary nights, but it was like awesome and totally worth it.
What year did you guys get together?
2015. Well, technically 2014. We put out our first song though, like January 1st of 2015.
Right.
And that was just like a demo that we were like, fuck it, like let's see what happens. You know, let's like try this thing out, and if it works, and then it works. And then I think by probably like summer to fall of 2015, we like played our first show, and it like popped off, and we were like, damn, okay, like this might be a thing.
We're pretty good at this.
We were okay.
Yeah, well, bands will never say we're pretty good at this, but I always try to get them to say it because
I feel like I can say it now. You know,
well, you guys are, in my opinion, you know, what I would say of newer bands, even though it's been long enough now that you say you're not a new band, but at my age, when you look at bands and you go, okay, they're in the newer school.
Totally. Yeah.
I'd say you guys are one of the bands that I find to be the authentic version of something, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like you're making art, and it's not a
gimmick.
It's not a gimmick. It's not a plan.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan once you make the art.
Totally.
But you got to make the art first.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And sometimes people make the plan first. And then they go, okay, now fill in the slots with art, and like, okay, let's figure. And it's like working in my opinion, anyways. This is just my thought. People listening can disagree with me for sure, and I'm always open to that. But I feel sometimes people work in the wrong order.
Totally.
And I think you gotta go, oh, cool, I want to be in a band. Start, okay, great. I think I could do that. Great. My friends you find the people that you agree with. Great. Start making art. Great. Oh, now I kind of like these songs.
Yeah.
Now let's figure out how do we bring these out to the world, and how do we, that feels to me like the organic.
Right. And I think that's like very much what our approach was, right? You know, like when we started this band, none of us thought that it was going to be
a job,
or turn into what it's turned into.
A lifestyle.
You know, a lifestyle, a career, like a whole fucking thing, you know? We always had a good feeling about it. You know, we were always like, hey, this is going to be our attempt at actually doing a band for real, and you know, trying to actually make it work. But I think our headspace was like, our idea of success at the beginning was more so based around like, okay, can we sell out our hometown venue? Like, can we sell out Chain Reaction at some point? If we can do that as a headlining band and sell out 450 tickets at Chain Reaction, we'll have made it enough for our book, right? Like that was our idea of like, yeah, that's a successful, route. And now here we are, fucking 8-9 years later, being like, yo, we just sold out the Palladium in Los Angeles. We just did 2 nights in a row at House of Blues in Anaheim.
Problem.
And it's like...
No problem. Movements, no problem.
Next level, right? So none of us ever thought that we would get to this point. And we all would have been happy had we only made it to the point where we were doing, you know,
would you have, though?
Rooms. I think like...
Honestly.
I think I would have been like
Are you managing your own... expectations so
maybe
that you
a
don't
little.
get disappointed?
I don't think I would have been disappointed, because at the end of the day, I just wanted to play music.
Right.
You know, I wanted to create something that was real and honest and
I
have
totally
it
get that.
connect, right?
Totally.
But at the same time, like, yeah, I think that now that I'm here and I see how successful it can be and the fact that I can turn it into some sort of like a career for myself, I think now I'm like, okay, shit, how much further can we push this? You know, we've already made it so much farther than we expected to make it. Let's keep going. Like, what's next? Where do we go from here? We only want to see like that upwards trajectory, right?
Also, you have to at least realize whether you've talked about it or not, but I feel like you have, because you're like you share. Right?
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Like me, I share.
Yeah.
I love to share. That's why I have this show.
Yeah.
Because I like to share, right?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I got to share enough of the stuff I wanted to share over the years.
Sure.
That's the whole reason we started having this, because I just want to share. I want to talk to people.
Yeah.
And have the conversations we've had.
Yeah.
The couple conversations we've had. I want people to be able to listen in on those conversations.
Right.
So they take something away,
right,
and they get some game before they get into the game.
Totally.
And whether it's an artist or someone starting a business or someone just trying to better their life, they listen to the songs and they get something from it. But then also, like, we learn a lot in trying to make it.
Absolutely.
And like, we make mistakes. If we could go back, we wouldn't make them again. And if we could help people avoid the potholes,
right,
like, that's our job as human beings.
Absolutely.
I think. So my question is, so one, you have to have realized along the way how many people your music has helped, which also drives you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, okay, now I kind of feel like I have this relationship with these people and they've shared with me. And now I feel like I need to, like, I felt like we gained a responsibility in our band's career with so many people. And I'm like, it had to be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of personal stories I got to hear firsthand or in a letter or, you know, however they shared, where you start to feel responsible for the people who have put you there,
right,
and what they get from your music. And it does kind of drive you as well to want to continue to, like, put stuff out and be successful.
Absolutely.
To keep doing that. Because it feels good in that way.
Yeah, 100%. I think that the connection with the fan base and the kids who, you know, like you said, who come up to us after each show and pour their hearts out, you know, and let us know, like, you know, their whole life stories or whatever it is that their traumas are, their struggles and whatnot, and how much our music has impacted them and helped them, right? Ultimately, I guess that wasn't necessarily the goal going into it for us. Like, obviously we wanted to connect with people, but at the end of the day, we were just writing honestly about what we were going through, right? And the fact that it did connect with people and did turn into sort of like, yeah, you're right, a responsibility to be there and show up for the people who do connect with the music. I mean, that was super important, but it was also challenging, you know, like,
it's a heavy weight.
What's that?
It's a heavy weight too.
Yeah. I mean, finding myself in that position where I'm suddenly being thrust into this world of, like, almost being like a mental health advocate and resource for people, you know, like that was really, heavy and in some cases overwhelming, you know, at times when I was struggling to handle my own issues.
What was your biggest struggle around your mental health?
So I have had struggles with anxiety and depression since I was like a child. Like, I had my first anxiety attacks when I was like literally like 5 or 6 years old, you know.
Did you know what it was at the time?
No, not at all. And my parents didn't really know either.
It's confusing.
Very.
I had my first, I struggled with anxiety for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I still, what I always say is I learned how, I established a relationship with it.
Yeah.
So now I have a relationship with it, which immediately shrunk it.
Totally.
To a place where most of the time I can manage it 95% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to be when you've had it. I started having it when I was 11.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, and I had no idea what it was. Super confusing. You just think you're going to die.
Yeah.
And it's real at the time.
Yeah.
And then I would have those, like, panic attacks. The first year I had it, I had them every night for a year.
Fuck.
Now, I look back after working it out in therapy, and I know what happened that year. There was a lot of trauma that year.
Right, yeah.
So now, of course, I understand, but I didn't at the time.
Right.
And my parents certainly didn't have, like, an education. They were dealing with their own shit.
Right.
So I had my brother, because we shared a room, and I would have a panic attack every night, and he would sit there with me until it was over. And sometimes it was a half hour, sometimes it was 15 minutes, sometimes it was an hour.
Yeah.
And then after that year, almost every night for a year, maybe there were nights where I didn't.
Sure.
But it felt like a whole year of panic attacks. I would have them kind of like weekly.
Damn, yeah.
And then it was just like something I lived with. And I didn't understand what they were until I was in my 20s.
Yeah. Until you have the resources to like help you and like help you realize like, oh, that's
someone tells you this is what you're experiencing.
Exactly.
And these are the, this is lots of people. Also, you feel kind of shameful about it.
Yeah.
Because you're living with this like thing, this episode that happens. And it's like you have these episodes.
Yeah.
And so you start also planning around it.
Yeah.
So you can't go to spend the night at a friend's house.
Right. Because
you can't do this. That's the thing that people don't discuss enough.
Yeah.
Is when things get in the way of us living like a happy life.
Right. Avoidant behaviors because you are afraid of the what ifs of like, oh, well, what if I freak out when I'm doing this thing, when I've got something going on and then, other people are looking at me in a weird way or whatever, Do you
go to therapy?
I do. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've been in therapy for a long time.
Cool.
But I didn't go to therapy until well after I should have.
Me too. I didn't even know it really.
Yeah. I mean, my whole childhood, I kind of just dealt with it where I would have, really gnarly anxiety, or I'd have like periods of like, childhood depression where I didn't know why I felt the way that I felt, but I was just like, I knew I felt off, and I would just like every morning when I would wake up for school, like I'd be crying because I just didn't want to go. And, I didn't know why I felt the way I felt, all that shit. And then it wasn't until probably like late in high school that I actually really started like trying to actively do something about my mental health, because as I got older, my mental health also like, my issues kind of manifested themselves differently to the point where I was actually diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder.
I have a little bit of that.
Yeah. And that was like really new to me. And obviously, I mean, OCD is just like a form of anxiety, but
it is. It acts out. And
but being treated for anxiety and being treated for obsessive compulsive are like very, very different approaches, right? And it wasn't until I started treating myself for like the OCD side of things that I really started to notice like a big difference. Up until then, my outlet, my way to kind of deal with everything was just putting it into music. And like, that was like, this is what I'm feeling. I don't know how else to talk about it. Here it is.
You know what? I feel like while you're saying that, I'm thinking and I'm like realizing why I like your music.
Yeah.
Because I relate. I thought I related to it, but then we've never talked about this before.
Right.
And I feel like I relate to it so deeply, and now I know why I like it.
Yeah.
Because you were pouring all that stuff into your music.
Yeah.
And I related to it, on an energetic, on a spiritual level, right?
Sure. Yeah.
For your OCD, let's say it's a good day on a scale of 1 to 10. Where's your OCD at?
Maybe like a 3 or 4. It's like always there. You know what I mean? It's
3 or 4 isn't a terrible.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I think on a good day where I'm feeling like a day like today, right? I mean, I'm not feeling anxious today. I'm not feeling the way that I, have felt in the past. But it's always there. It's always in the back of my head. I always have like a base level of like, okay, like I'm aware of this. I'm choosing not to draw attention to it, and I'm choosing to continue living and not allow it to affect me. Right? It's not until that anxiety starts to creep up or something happens where I experience some sort of trigger, and then I go spiraling,
How's your anxiety act out when it was bad?
It was
panic attacks, like
panic
breathing.
attacks, shaking, constant, like, pit in my stomach, like just genuine, like freak out moment where it felt like the world is collapsing, like the walls are caving in.
Yeah, no, I know. Was there like a physical thing though that, like, for me, I always felt like my throat was closing and I was allergic. Like I was having an allergic reaction. I was sure that I was having an allergic reaction.
Sure, yeah.
And that I was going to stop breathing. Never been allergic to anything in my life.
Yeah.
But I'm the one guy who will when I'm anxious and I'm in a very stressful time, I'll have those little moments where I'll eat something. And even my wife, it's a funny joke because she's known me for so long, and we're on the inside together.
Sure.
But if I'm in a very stressful time and we're eating somewhere, I'm like, oh, do you think there's something in this that I'm allergic to? And she's like, hon, I think you're just stressed out right now, and you're focused. You think you're just having a little anxiety.
Yeah.
She's like, you're fine. And then I'll be like, oh, let me just go out for a walk. And then I'll just go out, walk around the restaurant, come back in. And she's like, you good now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I just needed to like.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a second.
But when you do that and you feel embarrassed, first of all. So I'll get my phone out. I'll act like I'm on a call until I get outside. And then I'll like breathe, take a minute, go back in. Like that shit still happens to me maybe like every couple months.
Yeah.
Every 3 months I have one of those.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it.
I feel you. Yeah, I think that that immediate like need to separate is like such a thing. You know, I feel it all the time, you know, if I'm already kind of having like maybe a little bit of a rougher day, right? And every day is different, you know. I'm medicated now, so it helps kind of even out all of my, you know, for the most part.
What medication?
So I'm on Prozac, and Prozac's been really helpful for me.
My friend takes that. He says the same thing.
Yeah, I've tried a bunch of other stuff. Hasn't necessarily done me a whole lot of good.
Yeah.
I haven't felt like really, really like overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Until I started Prozac, and that's been like a game changer for me.
That's cool. Do you smoke weed or anything?
No, I'm straight edge. I've been straight edge for 11 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's like another thing too, is like, I'm kind of just fucking raw dogging life, and having to deal with
no medication, no lubrication.
Yeah. There's no, you know, I think a lot of people, and obviously this is not like a healthy habit, right? But like a lot of people will help kind of reduce their anxiety by turning to alcohol or whatever, turning to weed.
Weed is the opposite on me. Can't smoke weed. I've tried a few times.
Yeah, trust me. When I was like a kid, when I wasn't straight edge, I had tried smoking weed a couple of times in high school, and it made my anxiety 100 times worse. 100 times worse. It was horrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But I mean, I totally resonate, you know, going back to what we were saying about like starting to be in a situation in which you feel overstimulated or overwhelmed, and everything around you, there's just too much, right? There's like too much noise, or the people, and like I do this thing, and it's like this weird kind of like paranoia that manifests itself sometimes, like where I think like, oh, everybody is like looking at me, or everybody's talking about me, or whatever, right? Things that are like so bizarre and absolutely untrue because everybody else is just living their lives, right? But I'll have this weird thought that comes into my head, and it's just an intrusive thought, and then I loop on it, right? Where I'm just like, oh, everybody's watching me, or like, oh, there's cameras that are like recording me right now, or like any like weird shit like that. You know?
I feel that.
And then I freak out, and I have to separate myself. And so yeah, I mean, I resonate with just like having moments where I've just needed to like get up, go outside, be like recenter myself, take some deep breaths, learn what I've learned in therapy, or use what I've learned in therapy, and like allow myself to like calm my body down. And then once I'm physically calm, it helps my mental clarity, right? Because if your body is tense, if you're feeling all of that in your stomach and in your chest, and you know, starts to feel like you can't breathe, that sort of thing, that's only going to trigger your mind to continue to think like, oh fuck, something's really wrong, you know? So it's when you can kind of like allow yourself to like, okay, I'm good. Go back into the scenario and allow yourself to just like maybe sit with that uncomfortability, right? Where like maybe you're still feeling or thinking those things, but not allowing them to like manifest themselves as deeply. And I mean, honestly, like, there's a lot of just like dealing with it that comes with this sort of shit, you know? Like you just have, at a certain point, you just have to sit there and kind of deal with it and allow yourself to like move past it, you know, which sucks.
But well, I think it's like we have to get a relationship with it, because I do think that we all have, I believe that most people are on the spectrum of some kind of anxiety, OCD, all the things. It's not like a new idea.
No.
We're not the first people to be anxious. We're not the first people to have to deal with this. And then if we could measure it against the trauma or the things we went through in our childhood. Now, some people, it's nature, right? They're born The wiring's a little different. And now they're going to have the work on that.
Yeah.
And then some of us, me, there was different trauma, right?
Right.
So I didn't even know about it
until
I was older, and someone was like, you should go talk to someone and figure out like it feels to me like that. Like a therapist told me this. He's like, it feels to me like you suffered some trauma. And I was like, no, I didn't. Well, how was your childhood? Oh, it was great. They're like,
until you dig
tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. And you start telling them, and they're like, oh, you need to, because we'll take whatever our childhood was and we'll put a filter on it to live with it.
Right.
Because it was our childhood. So we got to turn it into something positive for ourselves. So we'll hold on to things as positives that weren't.
Right.
Because it was the best option to pick out.
Yeah.
Right. And you could actually go like, no, the holidays were not a happy time ever. But I made them a happy time with this, and that. So, I eat tons of food in the holidays because that was the happy part.
Right.
Right. But everything else was terrible. Mm-hmm. So why are you such a bad gift receiver? Why are you such a bad, why are you not good at these family things? Well, you never had another experience but bad.
Right.
And then you put a lens on everything like, no, it was great. It was, and I think it's something like we all have some version of that.
Totally.
Whether it's trauma or this or that. And then we have to do the work. To some age, you're not responsible for it, right? But then you become an adult and you're fully responsible for how you behave.
Yeah.
And so you have to go back and excavate.
Yeah, you got to do the work.
Unpack, do the work.
Yeah.
That's why I think therapy is good for everyone.
Absolutely.
And if we can get whatever our tics are and whatever our emotional baggage is or our behavioral response to whatever it is, whatever habits we formed growing up, the anxiety became a habit to deal with the trauma.
Right.
But at a certain age, it doesn't work.
Right.
It didn't work when you were 11, but at the time you didn't know how to fly the plane.
Right.
You get to an age where you're like, no, I got to go do the work. Enough people are telling me that something's off.
Right.
And I'm through my 20s, I was like, fuck you. I'm not off. You're off.
Yeah.
But then you go, wait, if enough people are telling me, I always tell people, if you have a problem with more than one person in your life, you need to go in and look at.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be more than one problem with one person.
That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have a problem with 5 people, likely you're the problem.
Exactly.
Any more than 3, I'll give you 3.
Yeah.
Like I always say that when I have a friend, they're like, this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'll always zoom. I was like, let's zoom out.
Right.
How many of these problems do you have?
Right.
And be like, none. And I'm like, no, be real. Like, let's count through. And if it's more than 3, I think you need to go and talk to somebody about you.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we learn how to manage the OCD down, it can be a good thing.
Yeah.
My theory is if we can get it to the sweet spot, you'll come in, you won't find a cleaner house. You won't find a more organized office. When my anxiety's down and my OCD's just right, everything's in place.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel
now, if I spiral, I'll just wreck the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it's crazy to me when I think about how far I came in just doing the work on those little parts. Like if I get my anxiety right to the right place, it keeps me focused.
Yeah.
And I can live with it. And I can be super high functioning, high performance, do things at the highest level.
Sure, yeah.
And then now at my age, at 44, I go, I know how to fly the plane. So I perform at a high level. And I think that's the strength we have if we can figure the wiring out and get it right. Totally. And manage the thing to a 1 or a 2 or a 3 and keep it in the sweet spot. Because if we're OCD, and I don't know how your OCD acts out, but mine is super organized, has to be, everything feels like a mess.
Sure.
I'll look at everything and be like, it's a fucking mess, and I'll be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And too overwhelmed even to do anything about it.
Yeah.
But when I get it to the sweet spot, I can keep things in enough order, but let things slide.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, man, I wish my OCD manifested itself like that. But unfortunately, it doesn't. I have, so underneath like the subcategories, right, of obsessive compulsive, I think like the general kind of understanding of OCD is that like, oh, it's like, you know, you're either like super organized or like you're a germaphobe, so you're super clean, or like, you know, you have to do certain patterns to make sure that you know, make sure things are in place and safe and whatever. And I think that's like a very common. Like,
that's me.
Right.
And on a 3, that's perfect.
Totally.
I'm a germaphobe enough that I'm clean, but
Yeah.
I can shake hands enough.
Right. And I think that's like a very common experience for people with OCD.
But I count hands when I shake hands.
Right. Yeah.
I count up to 5 and then I have to wash my hands.
Dude, I'm with you.
And I don't touch anything after the second handshake. One handshake,
Yep.
these days I can let it slide and I can like continue through my life after one handshake. But any more than one, I have to wash my hands and I get a little
it gets a little
it's
hairy.
crazy.
I get it. I'm with you. I mean, I can be the same way. But my OCD is very much what's considered pure O. So the idea is that it's like the obsession is more of like the mental thing, right? So the obsession, if you're somebody who is a chronic hand washer because you're afraid of germs, the obsession is with the germs. The compulsion is washing your hands over and over and over again to deal with the germs. Right. And that turns into, the compulsion fuels the obsession, which fuels the compulsion, which fuels the obsession. It's a constant cycle.
But you can kind of live with it.
Right. Until it's like out of hand, right? With pure O,
so they're all dry.
With pure O, there's a lot less of the compulsion side of things, or at least less of the physical compulsions, right? With pure O, the obsession is more the problem and the internal kind of like, you know,
paranoia,
intrusive thoughts, paranoia. It could be anything, right? It could be, I had a weird thought like when I was driving my car, because everybody does this, right? I'm driving my car and I think, oh, I could just like swerve off the road and nail the person on the sidewalk and just obliterate them right now. Obviously, you're not going to do that, right?
No, of course not.
No one in their right mind would ever, right?
But it goes on a loop or something,
right? So normal people have that thought and think that was fucking weird. Anyway, going about my day.
Frontal lobe,
right? People with OCD or pure O in my case, right? I'll have a thought like that and I'll be like, oh fuck, why did I have that thought? Do I actually want to do that? And then I'm like, oh my God, what would happen if I did that? Oh, I would go to prison, or I you know, like what would that person's
family God, I'm
think?
going to prison now.
Oh my God, I'm going to prison. Yeah. And then before you know it, you start doing the internal mental compulsions, which are like, okay, I'm going to replay that in my head and I'm going to say, and I'm going to see how it makes me feel, because I want to test if I actually want to do that or not. Do I want to do that? And then I'll think about it again. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm okay. But then something like some other thing will come up and I'll be like, got to replay that because I need to make sure that in this scenario, you know what I mean? And then before you know it, for like hours at a time, you could be looping this horrible, horrible image in your head of something that you don't actually want to do or that you would ever actually do. But
therefore wasting time. Energy.
Right, wasting time and only causing yourself more stress and anxiety, because this thing that is haunting you is so bizarre and out of character.
And it's like this little thing over here that doesn't matter.
It does not fucking matter, but for whatever reason, it's right here all day. You're just thinking about it. And that's where my OCD manifests itself. And obviously that's a very like specific...
it makes sense though, you know, in the Howard Hughes, in the movie The Aviator, when he's trying to get the little spot out of the shirt,
right? And
then the shirt gets soaked,
right?
It's like that little thing causes
it's one little stain,
yeah,
that you turn into like the biggest mess in your head. But at the end of the day, it's a normal everyday thought that people can have, right? But where it gets scary is when it starts to be thoughts like that like then. You know, my brain likes to do this thing where it's like, oh, you think that was a bad thought? Well, here's an even worse one, you know, like what if this happened? And then you're like, fuck, dude, like, and you start catastrophizing everything to the point where, again, it causes just like severe anxiety and stress. And I can't even function at certain points because I'm just so worried about what's going on in my head, even though it's all just in my head.
At this stage in your life, though, how often are you dealing with that level?
Much less. And I go through phases. I'd say there's probably like at least one time per year where for anywhere from like a day to like maybe a couple weeks, I'll be in like a bad headspace. And again, it's usually caused from certain triggers of mine. occasionally it could just be like, oh, I have a nightmare or something in which something bad like that happens, or I do something like that. And then I wake up and I'm like, fuck, why did I have that dream? Like, does that mean something? Whatever, you know?
Is it in high stress times, you think?
Yeah, I think that stress definitely like compounds it, you know? I think most recently, I had like a 2-day stretch on this last tour where I was feeling a little off. And it was because I had a dream that had like really kind of set me off in a weird way. And I was just feeling weird for a couple of days. But it was also like we had been on tour for 3 weeks. I was losing my voice. I was stressed out about like not being able to play the show.
That's real.
Yeah, you know, so I was at a point where I was like stressed about other things. And then it's like that's when the anxiety, that's when the OCD kind of creeps up, because it'll take advantage of your weaknesses, your soft spots, right? And in those moments where you're a little bit more vulnerable, I think that's when it can really compound itself.
I actually think it's trying to protect you.
Right.
And so if you just even though you don't want to deal with it and you don't want it to happen, if you reframe the problem as something that actually is a likely it's connected to your superpower, which is writing songs, performing, doing something that very few people can do successfully. You know, if we did the math on how many people can be successful at what we do, it's a very low number of people that can actually have success making art, music, and doing what you guys have done. So that's a positive. It's likely super connected to that wiring. And therefore, I always try to remind myself of this so I don't carry like shame around it. And like, because we are all made individually, uniquely. And I talk to people, like when I meet people, a lot of people will talk to me about how they feel and their anxiety and stuff. And I always try to remind people, like, we have to learn how to manage it. And we do want it to go away to a point where it doesn't get in our way. But it is likely connected to why we're so good at what we do.
Yeah.
And first we have to recognize we're good at what we do.
Sure.
Which is hard to do. For a very long time, I couldn't do that. Now I'm like, you know what? I am good at what I do. And whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
There'll always be someone that like will listen to what I do and I'll enjoy, even if it's 10 people, if I can share it with them. I know I'm going to get 10 yeses at least, right?
Yeah.
And so I've had to build a positive relationship with what I do in the world first. And then I had to build a positive relationship with that anxiety and stuff so that I could actually not hate myself for it. Because for so long, I hated myself for it because it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like I would have to, like when I was younger, it was really embarrassing. Now, as a grown man, I'm not embarrassed by it. Yeah. I'll tell someone if I'm at dinner, like, yo, having a little panic attack. If we're friends, I'm going to tell you, I'm having a little panic attack. I'm going to go outside. Give me 5.
Yeah.
And if I don't know you, I'm probably going to get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm not ashamed.
Totally.
It just depends on our relationship if I'm going to share with you or not.
Right.
And it's not happening often enough that like I feel like I have it under control. I have a relationship with it that I can manage.
Sure.
And I did work on it though. That was 10 years. I would say by the second year of therapy, I had it in a great place. And then it was like I'm pretty competitive work-wise, so I wanted to fucking nail it. So I was like really working for a long time. But I do think that we have to learn to appreciate the system that we have in us as like a part of what makes us unique.
Totally.
And it's our job to learn how to manage it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't get in the way of us being unique and being successful.
Yeah.
But then also to like not necessarily like feel shame or hate it, but just go like, yo, my OCD is crazy. It makes me do this.
Yeah. I think like the good thing about, you know, being able to like talk about it and bring it more into like the limelight, right? And discuss mental health and put mental health into like our writing or whatever it is. And, you know, it's all helping the destigmatization of mental health struggles, right? I think even, you know, when I was growing up, the idea of like somebody needing to be on a medication for like their brain, I was like, whoa, like that's weird. Like you must be crazy. Like there must be something seriously wrong with you. Right?
I felt that way about therapy.
Yeah, I'm saying
in the 90s, we were like, therapy.
Yeah,
that's for like fucked up people.
Yeah, it's for wackos, like, and it's like that whole idea was so prevalent for so long, but now it's really shifting and it's changing and it's becoming okay to like have those issues and to be medicated and like, to bring those things into everyday conversation and whatever. So I mean,
100%.
I love and I respect like that you can be straight up with your people and just be like, yo, I'm feeling super anxious right now. I need a second. Because that's something that I still struggle with, like I will always kind of like crumple into myself if I'm feeling a certain way. And then it's not until somebody points out like, hey, are you good? Like you seem a little weird, that I'm like, honestly, like, no, I'm like not feeling great right now. Like I need a second. But I'm never the first person to like admit it, because I am like, there's still always like that kind of like initial knee-jerk reaction of like, oh, I need to hide this, right?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to know, because
right.
It's embarrassing, because you know what it is even when you're going through it.
Right. Yeah. It sucks because like and it's something that I'm working on, but yeah, I mean, I'm still guilty of trying to hide it. I'm 28.
Oh, dude, you're 16 years younger than me.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Like you're way ahead of the game. I wasn't in this conversation until I was 32.
Yeah.
And my whole 20s were really tough. And I was so lucky to have super kind people around me, whether it was the relationships I was in or the friends I had. Everyone was kind. And they all pointed me in that direction.
Totally.
I was always like, they were like, I think you're like anxious. And I'd be like, along the way, there was a few people in my life through my 20s that got me to when I was like 30, I started going to therapy. And then I'm super obsessed with work. So therapy became work to me.
Yeah.
And I just started going in on it. And like, I was like, if it takes some people 5 years, it's going to take me 5 months. I'm going to do it in 10% of the time. Yeah. Right? Or whatever that is. 6 months.
Yeah.
So I was always doing the math on things, going like, how much more efficient can I be at what I'm doing than the average? And I want to beat everything by like 80%.
Sure.
And so I started obsessing over the progress.
Right.
And there's something to that too. Like the obsessiveness I have is always on the projects I'm working on or the things I'm doing, which can be annoying if I don't manage that as well.
Totally.
Because that is anxiety and OCD acting out in a positive way, I think.
Yeah. And I think I think it's important to be upfront and to be like enthusiastic and like really into your own progress and your own recovery from whatever it is that your ailments are and what you're struggling with, right? But at the same time, I think it's like important to remember too that like I always say this, like healing is like it's not linear. Like it's not you're starting here and you're gonna end here and it's gonna be like this the whole time. It's like you're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have great days. You're gonna have terrible days. You're gonna have stretches of time that feel like you're not making any progress at all and like you've plateaued. From that plateau, you might even end up coming back down a little bit and being worse off than where you were before. But eventually, you start to work your way back up, Well,
I like to say it's like I use the word dynamic.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I try to always remember because we are all dynamic.
Yeah.
We're not linear. And if anyone's bought the lie that they're linear and they're boring, they're just believing a lie and they've surrendered to the lie. Now, every person I meet, I see something in them that's dynamic. Every person. And I'm obsessed with that. Yeah. If it's at a coffee shop or if it's at a restaurant or if it's on a plane, wherever I go. And when I talk to people and I look at them and I have one conversation with them, I always find something dynamic about them.
Yeah.
And then I tend to attach my idea of them to that idea. So that can be a real weakness though. Sure. Because you will find a dynamic aspect to someone, but the majority of them have not developed.
Yeah.
And you can bet if you're not careful about understanding where people are and meeting them where they actually really are, even if they have a dynamics, a special, unique quality to them, you also have to zoom out and you do have to look at, you got to meet people where they really are. because you can make the wrong bets on people, and you have to invest in people that are investable where they're at right now.
Yeah.
You can't want them to be here and then invest in them with like they're here and they're still there.
Right.
So like who we invest in, because our time is the most precious resource we have.
Sure.
In my opinion. It's not money, it's time. So our time and with people we give it to, we have to give it to people that are investable.
Right.
And so when we look at people, we have to meet them where they really are. We have to see what's special about them and be a dynamic. But if they're really in a bad spot, and that spot would hurt you if you invested in it because they can't get out of it on their own, you have to measure that and try to see who can you really help. Those people are always worth helping, because it's a rich experience when you help someone to get to a new place in life.
Absolutely.
And certainly the people that in my life that have helped me have had that experience with me, and I've had that experience with people, and we pay it forward.
Absolutely.
And it's this like special relationship we build with one another in the world.
Yeah.
That's investable people.
Yeah.
There are people who are, if you're realistic about where they're at, you have to measure like, I can't invest my time in that person right now. They don't want to not be addicted to drugs, or they don't want to not do the things they're doing that are hurting themselves.
Sure, yeah.
But I really believe that we're super dynamic, and therefore when we're in that pendulum of the highest highs of life, the joy, but also the pain, it's dynamic.
Right.
And we have to remember that in the healing, just like you said, it's like it's all over the place.
Yeah, it really is, man. Yeah. And it just, pendulum, always going to swing. But yeah.
So do you think for someone you could say has bouts or fits of things like paranoia, anxiety, OCD, all the different ways we experience it, that you chose a interesting like
career path
thing to do with your life, where everyone is looking at you and they're like, maybe they are looking at you because you're covered in tattoos and you look kind of like that band I think I like. And
I mean, that's that it's sort of crazy, the position
paradox
that I've put myself in, right? I mean, I hate when there is a lot of attention on me. I hate it.
So do you like performing?
I do, but here's the thing about when I perform is I kind of like compartmentalize, right? So like on stage, and a lot of people will point this out, on stage I'm a different person. Like the person that you're talking to right now, this like, who I am on an everyday basis, this goes away. Like as soon as I walk out onto that stage,
some other shit.
Persona fucking switches, and I'm just like, I'm confident. I'm like, I'm really like aggressive, and I'm barking, around at the crowd and like really getting people hyped up and all that stuff. And I'm doing my thing and I'm performing, right? But it's because I have to separate myself, because if I think too hard about the fact that there's 1,000 plus, in certain cases, like upwards of like 10,000 people watching, I will lose my mind. I'll freak out. Like I wouldn't be able to handle it. You know what I mean? So I have to just like put on this kind of like, brave, courageous persona, and that's who I become on stage. And then as soon as I'm off stage, even if I have like 4 or 5 people around me who are like, yo, great set, whatever, I'm like, thank you so much. There's a lot of people looking at me right now. I would really like it if I could just have, 1 or 2 people, or like, like not be surrounded by so many people. Like I don't like attention. I've never liked attention. And it's a stupid thing that I've done, because here I am being the center of attention on stage, and I have to just like allow myself to like, again, like,
I have a theory.
Embrace it,
I have a theory.
Yeah.
So I think that side of you that comes out on stage, first you have to acknowledge that it is you. Yeah. Yeah. And that it is like a real part of you, and that it may not be the dominant part of you because you haven't maybe learned how to integrate those parts of you. And I think that's a thing that happens over time. And I don't actually think we get there till we're in our 40s where we can integrate all the pieces of us.
Sure.
And like thousands of years ago, we literally had to like kill bears.
Yeah.
Or they would kill us.
Right.
Right. So it's in us still.
Right.
Like it's in our cells that we have to rise to challenges. And you see people do it every day. You see people be heroic.
Right. Yeah.
And like, that's what we all get inspired by, is the heroic acts. people saving other people, people sacrificing their lives for people, or people risking their lives, all the hero stories. But also why we all, and I personally love to watch people that are great on stage, like great artists. It makes me aspire.
Sure.
Because it's scary to be on stage.
Yeah.
To everyone else, they're like, that's fucking crazy. I don't know what I do. People get stage fright.
Right.
Or they underperform.
Right.
It's a thing on stage. If you're not a good performer and you get out there, you're fucked.
You're fucked. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think that that's something that I've really had to learn over the years. When we started out, I was not confident on stage. I was very, very quiet on stage.
You faced the task,
right?
And you hadn't done it before.
Yeah.
And our first show, my back was to the audience the whole time. I didn't turn around.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It's a weird story. But now I'm certainly not comparing us going on stage to people risking their lives for other people. But what I'm saying is like there is this like fight or flight we have.
Yeah.
And we can certainly like run away or fall down trying or not trying, but it either lives in us or it doesn't. And at some point the training wheels come off and you're like, I'm fucking killing this bear.
Yeah.
And you go out and you do it. Cause I know for me, terrified of stage when we started, and still anxious before we go on.
Oh yeah, that anxiety never goes away. But I feel like it's a different anxiety, right?
You become more focused,
yeah,
and less edgy and uncomfortable, and kind of. I used to be like downright kind of like unpleasant.
Yeah,
like I needed to be alone because I was so tweaked by the idea that in an hour we're going on stage.
Right.
45 minutes, we're going on stage.
Yeah.
30 minutes. Oh my God, it's getting too close.
Oh yeah, the countdown. I'm familiar, man.
Oh God, okay, now we have to go. And then but then you go out on stage, and when you learn how to surf that wave, it gets fun.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm so glad that I'm at a point now where I've been able to like make that shift, right?
You're good on stage.
Thank you.
It's probably that. Do you also like find like the way you guys are kind of like, you let people, everyone's on, you can come on stage, you can stage out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, part of the whole, like,
it's very much part of like, I think like my bread and butter. I mean, I grew up in Orange County. I grew up in the hardcore scene. Like, my home venue is Chain Reaction. I've been to legendary hardcore shows at Chain Reaction.
Yeah.
That energy, that feeling of like the community, the intimacy of like a small fucking packed out room and kids just going fucking nuts. Like that's what I love. I live for that shit. So yeah, man, we do encourage like a little bit of a rowdier crowd. We're not a hardcore band by any means, but I mean, it's definitely in our blood. It's in our bones. And
I hear hardcore in it though.
There's elements for sure, especially in the earlier stuff. There was a lot of like, we took a lot of that away from it, but while still wanting to be more of like an emo band or whatever. I mean, we kind of genre bended a few times throughout our time so far, and I'm sure it'll continue to be a gray area.
I feel like you guys are like a post-hardcore, like true post-hardcore sounding emotional rock.
Yeah. That was the vibe. I mean, that was exactly what we were going for to begin with.
And now it feels like just a more evolved version of that. Like to me, it still sounds like you kept all the good emotional parts, but it feels like the music's grown. So it's a little, you could say indie rock or like even just rock and roll. It doesn't feel as like cookie cutter to me as if you just said rock.
Sure.
There's a lot of things you get to say in your music that I don't think a lot of people could get away with saying it honestly.
True.
So it's something, and again, I go back to your personal experience with your emotional, your mental health.
Yeah.
I think it's that, dude. I think it's that wiring that gave you the license that a lot of people don't have. So there is some appreciation you have to have for how you were made up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I love it, man. I think that like, especially with, I mean, that's very much like the entire thing, like about hardcore, right? It's honest. It's in your face. It's like, it's fucking angry people with something to say
at its best.
Yeah.
At its best.
And turning that into something that maybe at its core, like lyrically, it's like aggressive and it's harsh or it's mean or fucking whatever, but turning it into something positive at the end of the day with the community around you and making it, really curating that community. And I think that Movements has done a good job of that. I think our fan base are all very like in tune with what it is that we're doing, and that we're creating, because they resonate with it on more than just a musical level. They resonate with it on an emotional level and on a level where they can feel comfortable and feel comfortable expressing themselves and letting out that sort of shit that maybe you aren't letting out in other areas of your life, but also being a part of something bigger and being a part of a community that embraces that and breeds that and turns it into something really special and positive. So yeah, going back to the live show setting, like we try to like really, embrace that. And like, I hate a crowd that just stands around,
Yeah.
I want you to get rowdy. I want you to fucking climb on top of each other. I want you to fucking crowd surf. And if there's no barricade, stage dive. If there's a barricade, fucking stage dive. I don't give a shit. Do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm all about that stuff. So yeah, I love it, man. And again, I think you're right. Like it wasn't until I could embrace, more of that like confidence on stage to like tell people to do that. Because in the beginning, it happened naturally. The rooms were small. We were playing with like hardcore bands. We're playing with bands that like the energy was already there. So I didn't really have to do a whole lot. It wasn't until we started playing bigger rooms, we started touring with different acts. We started, being in scenarios where that's less of the reaction right off the bat, that I had to start really learning how to control a crowd and to like make a crowd want to do those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one of the things I like about Movements is you guys do take the elements I love about hardcore.
Yeah.
And like I say, something at its best is the thing we like, the thing we love, right? You guys take so much good stuff and you put it into your music in a way that we can appreciate, but you're still you.
Yeah.
So you're not boxed in by anything. So the potential is endless because you guys could make any record you want to make. And I think that's important for music, is that we don't box ourselves in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are going to come up on 10 years as a band pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
What are you the most proud of Movements?
I think I'm the most proud of the fact that, one, we're still doing this, and two, that it seems like we're still on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, yeah, for sure you are.
I think when the band started, I tried to be extremely realistic about it, in the sense of like what the longevity of the band could be. And in my mind, I told myself, if we get 10 years out of this thing, that's pretty much best case scenario. I'm looking at bands who were in a similar genre to us or similar realm to us, who had been at it for a while.
Yeah.
I think everybody, once they hit that 10-year mark, it's like, yeah, you've either done a great job and you've made it, or you've kind of fallen off, So I was telling myself, like, look, like best case scenario, or I guess technically if you look at it like worst case scenario, like, 10 years is like a good, like, if we make it by then, great. And if we don't,
accomplishment.
It's huge accomplishment. If we make it to there, great. If that's as far as we make it, that's fine. I think the thing I'm most proud of is the fact that here we are coming up on 10 years, and it's like, we're just getting started. That's how it feels, especially with the release of the new record. I mean, Ruckus has we've seen huge growth from it already. We just got off of a 6-week tour.
It's a great album.
Thank you. Yeah. We just got off of a 6-week tour. The first time touring that record, headlining it. Fucking all but 5 shows sold out. The shows that didn't sell out got damn near close to selling
sold out.
out.
Didn't matter.
Yeah, fucking. I asked on stage every single night. I was like, "Yo, who's seen us before?" And kids would raise their hands, and I'm like, "All right, who's never seen us before? Who's new to this band?" Half the crowd every single night, new faces. And I'm like, "Yo, that's crazy." Like, we're seeing more growth now than we've seen since since the beginning, since the band started, and we had kind of that like immediate, like really like intense growth right off the bat, and then maybe it kind of leveled out over the years. We're back to another spurt, a growth spurt, where we're seeing all these new faces and stuff. And the fact that we're still continuing to reach new people, gives me so much hope for like the next 10 years. Now my goal is like, all right, fuck it. Let's go 20 years. You know, what's going to happen at the 20-year anniversary of this band? Are we going to do another 10 after that? Are we going to end up doing it for 30 years? You know, like what's going to happen? And the fact that is even fathomable to me at this point, right? The fact that like I can see that as a very real possibility is incredible. It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah, it is a good feeling.
Yeah.
It makes me think, when I think about that, I always just relate to my band because that's the only experience I have.
Right.
I think, well, I don't want to be in a band with anyone else.
Exactly.
I love the guys I'm in my band with. We've been together since high school.
Yeah.
I'll never be in another band.
Yeah.
I just know that about myself. I don't want to be in another band. But I learned my relationship with my band had everything to do with my relationship with myself.
Sure.
2 questions I've learned just in the last couple of years, just in the last year or two, really, what I've learned to ask people when they come and tell me about their idea. I'm starting this. We have this band. We've been together for 2 years. Or I have this company I've started. And we're a year in. Whatever the dream is, I've learned to ask on a personal level if it's one-on-one. You love it. Yeah, I love it. Do you love yourself? It's a tough question to ask someone.
Yeah, it is.
All right, because it's a weird one. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I would just focus on making sure I love myself as much as I love my dream.
Yeah.
And then if I learn to love myself, I'm going to love my dream even more.
Yeah.
And then what is it about you that makes you special? Because I think going back to our mental health, I spent so many years hating it. Mm-hmm. In fact, in turn, hating myself and that part of myself,
right? And
learning to embrace it and love it and see it as a thing that makes me unique. And I have to learn how to drive this car. It's a different car, right? It's a little bit more complicated than a more basic car.
Sure.
But when I started looking at it that way, I started to find something special.
Yeah.
So when I talk to people, especially on this show, people listening, a lot of people are trying to build things. They're trying to build their lives, their dreams, their businesses, their careers. But they hate something about themselves and they need to go and like figure out how to love it.
Yeah.
And then when you figure that out, you actually, it's almost like a superpower because you can embrace what you're doing and not just go, well, I'll never be as good as them, but I'll be me. There's a version of it where you are better or different or whatever it is. And I think sometimes as bands, we bring our low self-esteem that got us into the band in the first place, which was a good thing. Mm-hmm. So we have to be grateful for that.
Yeah.
But then we have to work on it and like make sure that we're not boxing ourselves in and limiting ourselves into what kind of impact we can have. We don't know we don't know the impact our art's going to have. It may not be the number one song, but it might have an impact on a small group of people that feel alienated, or it might help 1 or 2 people. The impact is so hard to measure that we have to believe that.
Yeah.
And then we can focus on the art and do things we really believe in.
Yeah.
And be happy in the relationship, because I love my band. I love being, married to these guys, essentially 26, 27 years. And we've had our moments, like all people. We're all going through life and figuring out how to build families and do all the things.
Yeah.
But we arrived to a place where we're like, we love being together, and whatever that means, come what may, whatever we decide to do together, we're going to make music or we're going to do this. We don't limit ourselves in what's possible for what we can achieve.
Right.
And some of those achievements might not be visible to anyone else.
Yeah.
But it's important, I think, that we like stop and like do an inventory as a band of like what we've achieved.
Yeah.
Personally together. Like Billy and Paul, I look at them, we've been together for so long, and they're like amazing dads. And they're, great husbands. And I admire that maybe more than I admire like how their musicianship or how dependable they are. Right. All the good qualities of them, what being in a band with them, what that experience is like. Watching them kind of have personal lives that they show up for makes me a better, in my own life, like married, being a father. All the things that you have to kind of figure out.
Yeah.
There's no real manual for it.
Yeah.
You model it after people that you admire.
Absolutely.
And I would say, like, as much as the music we've made together has had an impact on my life, it's given me a life. Actually just our personal relationships with each other, watching them make decisions.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I fucking feel great about the decision I made when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's something full circle about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's it's not always easy, right? Like being, like you said, like married to your guys, because that's the way that we look at it too. You know, like I'm very much in a relationship with every person in my band.
Some very multi-dimensional marriage of all these different relationships.
Yeah, and it's not always easy to juggle that, and it's not always easy. Like you're gonna have issues just like you would in any marriage or any relationship, right? There's gonna be difficult times. There's gonna be really, really fucking great times. I think the thing that is so special to me about like having that group of people is like they're more than just your friends or dudes that you make music with. Like they become your family. And it's so cool when you have a group of people who work so well together, right? That you end up, it's one thing having best friends. It's an entirely separate thing having best friends who can come together and make something like straight up magical. You know what I mean? Because like creating music and continuing to like improve on your musical ability and your songwriting skills and whatever, there's something like really like spiritually like fulfilling and magical about that experience. Every single time that we go into the studio and you know, we go and we write and record with Will, and Will, in our opinion, is very much like the fifth member.
Will's the GOAT.
He's the best, dude. Like, and he is like truly the fifth member of our band. We're a quartet, but Will's the fifth dude.
How did you meet Will? And what record did he make that you were like, I gotta have Will produce this?
Bro, let me tell you. He's made almost all of my favorite records from all of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like it was when I started getting into like the more melodic side of like the hardcore Jason shit. So like Title Fight being a huge band for me, right? I saw the record is called Shed. It's their second full length. It's the first one that they recorded with Will, and they did like this whole VHS documentary about it. I was obsessed with that record. Came out like, I think I was a junior in high school. Found out about Will through Title Fight. Did some more research, realized, oh, this producer's worked with Balance and Composure. He's done fucking Daylight at the time, now Super Heaven. Another, you know, one of my favorite bands of all time. Worked with Tiger's Jaw, Pianos Become the Teeth, Law Dispute. Basically every band that was like
that you loved,
that was formative for me in high school for like what I wanted to create, right? That I was like, yo, this is the dude. He is the GOAT. Like that's my dream. I want to work with him. Wasn't until we started, you know, making music and putting together songs and stuff, and then we started getting label interest, right? Both Fearless Records and Hopeless Records, and I think Equal Vision at one point, after we had put out our first few demos and played some shows and whatever, had like shown some interest.
And who'd you go with?
We went with Fearless.
Okay, great.
And the reason why we went with Fearless, because it was fucking neck and neck, dude. Like we were so torn between who we wanted to go with.
Right.
We went with Fearless because they legitimately said to us, like, who do you want to work with? And we said, Will Yip. That's our guy. We want to do something.
The legend.
And he go literally, and so our A&R goes, we'll get you Will. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. We get a call maybe a week or two later. He's like, hey, talked to Will Yip. He's on board. He wants to do your guys' first record. You know, he sees like he sees the vision. He fucks with it. If you sign with us, like we'll make it happen like right off the bat. And we were like, fuck, like okay, sick. So yeah, we signed with Fearless because of that, and obviously like too because we like the team over there. They're all fucking great people.
Yeah,
it was obviously an incredible opportunity for us to even be considered, to even have the consideration of these labels to want to sign our baby band that nobody really knew, but they wanted to take a chance on.
It seemed to work out too.
It's worked out great, man. Yeah. And we've been on Fearless ever since, and we've done every single one of our records on Fearless with Will. And so he's truly become like our best friend over the last 7-8 years, you know, of just working together. And when we get together and we sit down in a room with Will, the four of us and Will, we always make the best shit that we've ever made, you know? And we started to recognize that, like, because originally we would write our songs ourselves, bring him into Will, do pre-pro for like a week or whatever, adjust stuff, change stuff around, fix things, whatever. And he would help us shape them into, great songs. If they were good before, he made them great. We started to realize that every single time that we were in there in that process with Will, he was just firing off ideas that were like, yo, that's it. That's the song, like, why didn't we think of that? Like, that's incredible.
That's when a relationship with a producer and a collaborator is good.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so
it's the icing on the cake.
It is. And then when it came to writing the latest record, Ruckus, we were like, dude, fuck doing anything just like the four of us. Let's just go to the studio and let's spend like a month at a time, just not even recording, just sitting there with Will and writing a song every day. And let's just see what happens. And it truly, I mean, in my opinion, it's our best work we've ever made.
Yeah, I agree.
Songwriting wise, it's certainly
just growth.
Yeah, it's certainly the most advanced. It's I think the most accessible to a wide range of like an audience. There's a little bit of something for everybody on this record. And I don't think that it would have been as good had Will not been there the whole time, really helping us and really like crafting these songs and turning them into what they are. So, I mean, yeah, that's been incredible. And I mean, I've said it a couple of times. I'll say it again. It's a magical experience. Like there's something like unexplainable that happens when you're in a setting like that. And you just come out of it feeling so fucking good about everything. And it gives you a whole new love for being in a band and being able to do this shit for a living, and being able to like, be like, yeah, I'm going to go write music with my best friends and we're going to make something fucking awesome that we're all super stoked about. And then we're going to go tour on it all year. Like, that's sick.
So for Will and you working with him every day and getting to know him really closely, you know him better than I do, but I certainly know him. And I just like have always found him to be an influence in music that it's like for those who know.
Yeah.
Right. Will's one of those guys, but
absolutely
when you see greatness, you recognize greatness. Like I think I definitely saw that. But I also noticed something about him. So I'm curious, on a scale of 1 to 10 on a day to day, how positive would you say Will is 1 to 10?
Will is an 11 out of 10 on the positivity scale every day.
Okay. So that was my theory with Will.
Dude, every day. I don't think I've ever seen him be negative about a situation. I
find him to be overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
And I have a theory about that. So it's not just a theory. I mean, it's proven that optimists do better.
Right.
But when you see it in action, it's different than a theory.
Right.
So for those of us who have struggled with any kind of pessimism or, depression, things, all the symptoms of the stuff that we were talking about can be pessimism.
Right.
And a pessimistic view of the world. Right.
Yeah.
So our worldview on any given day can be on the negative versus positive.
Sure.
We know that if we go into situations with a positive mindset, we're going to have a better outcome than if we go in with a negative mindset. We've all heard that, but in action, it's different than talking about it.
Yeah.
So me sitting here, anyone that's listening, and maybe they're driving their car or they're walking or they're doing something and they're listening to this and they're going, yeah, I know that. I know that if I go into something with a positive mindset, my chances of a positive outcome are going to be higher, much higher than if I go in with a negative outcome. But then you meet people who are actually living that in action every single day.
Yeah, dude.
And I think there's something about infusing that into actually as a part of the strategy, whether you guys planned it or not, you were a fan of the records he made. And so somehow, some way you were feeling his optimistic, positive influence before you met him.
Right.
And then when you met him, it confirmed in your gut, I knew I liked this guy.
Yeah.
Now you weren't going, oh, because he's so positive. You were going, oh, because he made these great records. The records are great. But I, in theory, believe that, and he's a force of nature, I think. He's like all great, collaborators and characters in music and art. When you meet those electric people, they have a way about them. They have an energy about them. I've seen a through line with like incredible creators. When I think of like Pharrell I've worked with him a bunch of times over the years and gotten to know him, and insanely inspiring, positive, brings positivity to the room, and and it electrifies the whole room.
Yeah.
And then everybody's working together and everybody's collaborating. And now, are the chances he's going to have more hits higher or lower because he brought that into the room?
Right.
And I put Will in that category, and on that level of the way he connects with a creative and then electrifies the records and the rooms that he's in and makes these special records.
Truly.
And it's likely why I like your records.
Yeah.
Not just that.
Right.
Right. But it's a quality to the record.
Totally.
That I find it's magnetic.
Right.
Right. I'm drawn to it because I want to do more like that. I always try to like, okay, let's watch the game tape and get rid of all the stuff that doesn't work.
Right.
It goes back to, if you have a problem with more than 1, 2, 3 people in your life max, you need to look at the game tape.
Right.
And you need to get rid of some of the strategy you're using.
Right.
Regardless of right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah.
And so if we can look at our band that way, and if like we have more than 3 problems, what are we doing?
Right.
Right? And I found with electric people, they bring success and they bring a better mentality of how we're going to run this play, so that when we go make the record, it's a better time. If we have a better time making the record, we're going to make a better record. If we make a better record, we're going to have a better outcome.
Right.
And then we're going to enjoy the whole cycle.
Yeah.
If we have a good time making the record.
Totally.
If we have a bad time making the record, I don't know if we're going to enjoy the cycle at all.
Yeah, it's going to suck.
Until the next time.
Yeah.
And so if I use that as a metaphor for life though.
Yeah.
And that's the great gift I think that music gave me, was looking at the times we had and going, okay, which ones were good and which ones were not a good time.
Sure.
And if we can have a better time most of the time with how we feel, we can have better results.
Yeah.
And if we get a better result most of the time, we'll have a better life.
Absolutely.
And have more success and more of everything we want. But we have to check, are we having a good time here?
Right.
And maybe it's a toxic person, or maybe it's us.
Right.
Either way, we have to face it.
Sure.
And do an inventory of it and try to like identify. So Will, I find to be one of those great collaborators who brings an electricity that kind of electrifies the whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that was like one of the most validating things too, like right off the bat, was the fact that not only was Will down with this, but he saw the vision, and that he was willing to take a chance on such a small band like what we were at the time, and really like get involved with it, because he fucked with it to a level that he was like, yeah, I want to help develop this, and I want it I want to take it to the next level. Having somebody that you look up to on a level like that care so deeply about what it is that you're doing, it's incredible. It was like the coolest feeling ever. Yeah. And that was just the beginning, and now it's happened more and more and more over the years. And yeah, I think that like, yeah, he's been super influential in that, and his positivity is next level. And I think he's taught me to have a lot more of a positive outlook and a more confident outlook on what we do as a band as well. That's been super influential.
That to me is like a really important, that you have people like that in your life.
Yeah.
You gotta like seek those people out and then keep them in your life.
Yeah.
I've learned anyways that it has a major influence on me. The friends of mine that always end up becoming collaborators somehow. We're collaborating on something in life, in our friendship, because we all tend to, artists, we get in rooms and we make stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's music or anything else, that's like our nature, right?
Right.
Man, positive people are so powerful.
Yeah.
I always look for those people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm stoked you came.
I'm really stoked to be here, truthfully. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's one of those like weird full circle moments for me too. Like, and not to like fucking get too fanboy-y, but I mean, like, Good Charlotte's a huge, I'm not joking, bro. Like, that's like a huge reason why like I'm even a musician, like for real. It was funny because we just played when we were young. I was bummed because I only got to see 3 songs, and then I had to leave from y'all's set to go play my set.
Yeah.
But I got to see, you know, I saw the first 3. You guys opened with the anthem. And I was like, well, that's fucking crazy.
Got to come out with the
bro. I had my
we
mom,
understood the assignment.
Yes, dude. I had my mom standing next to me, right?
Yeah.
And my mother is like, she's fucking 60 something. I don't know, mid 60s, right? Teeny little thing, completely white hair. She like stopped dyeing it or whatever. Like she's just like a cute little old lady at this point. It was crazy having her there next to me because when I was a kid, right, I used to go on our family computer because I think at like 8 years old, I was introduced to Good Charlotte by an older cousin of mine. He came and stayed at our house, had his little Walkman.
The Gateway Band.
Straight up. No, like for real. Had his little Walkman, and then when he would be still sleeping in the mornings, I would like steal his Walkman and I'd listen to whatever was playing.
I remember those days. I used to steal my brother's.
Yeah, dude.
My older brother's.
And so it was fucking you guys playing in there, and I was like, yo, like I really like this, whatever. And then as a gift to me, like because he knew that I was like listening to it or whatever, he ended up gifting me y'all's first record, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like what the hell? And that was like a huge like influence to me getting into, you know, from Good Charlotte. It was like, okay, found out about like Sum 41, found out about fucking even Simple Plan, and, you know, all of like the big, like, you know, pop punk, like big ass bands that were happening at that time. But it's funny because I was obsessed with the music video for the anthem. I love that music video.
The whole
just
style.
Like, fucking awesome music video. Still to this day, like one of my favorites. Fucking
Frank Boren.
Dude, like straight up like next level.
Yeah, what a guy
video.
too. He still makes amazing videos.
Yeah.
Now he produces them, but amazing. But yeah, like, dude, it's a fun video.
I would go on MSN Music, okay?
Yeah.
And I would watch like, it was like 240 bits or whatever, you know, like it's so pixelated, like the worst quality video you could imagine, right? And this was like, again, I was 8 or 9 years old. I'd go on, I'd fucking watch that video on repeat, dude. My mom,
that's cool.
My mom ended up getting charged something for whatever to her credit card from MSN. She's like, "Who's been using MSN? Like all this shit?" And I was like, "Oh, not me. I don't know." Fucking
You guys remember these days?
Oh, I sure.
Dude,
Yeah.
so one day I'm like in our family office. I like open up MSN. It has like this little like ding 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 like fucking you know chime that happens when you open up the website or whatever. She hears it from the other room, and she comes in here. She's like, "You're the one who's been racking up all these charges on my credit card. Why are you on MSN? You like don't use that. It costs us money, whatever." I'm like, "I'm sorry. I just want to watch the music video." Anyway, so I wasn't allowed to go on MSN Music anymore, and that was, I think, before YouTube was even a thing. So it was like I didn't know where the fuck to watch that shit. So full circle moment, there I am standing there in the crowd in the little VIP section with my mom next to me.
And we hit the anthem first.
You guys played the anthem, and I look at my mom and I was like, "Do you remember what happened with this song?" And I told her that whole story. It was very funny, man. It was like a full circle moment. And then, yeah, dude. And then fucking, I go over, I play my set.
Rip a set.
And my mom, for the first time ever, because she's always usually like in the balconies and whatever. For the first time ever, my mother is like front and center, like at the barricade, watching our band play. Because of the VIP section being there, it was like, it was more accessible for her to get there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like watching my mom sing along to our set at this fucking massive festival where you guys are playing like right down the way, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like blew my fucking mind, man.
But the power of you and the power of all of us is that we can think of things and then do them.
Yeah.
And that is what I always try to like remind people is like, we're not special in what we can achieve.
Yeah.
We're special in the individual aspects of who we are, and just like you're different than me, and your songs are gonna be your songs, and mine are gonna be mine, and like that's the special part of what we do.
Yeah.
But like you as a kid, whatever it was in you that thought, that little inkling of, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
That's the thing we got to hold on to.
Yeah.
That first thought we had was our best thought. I think I could do that. Yeah. Then we'll talk ourselves out of, probably kidding, but they could. So, and that's what separates us.
Right.
When someone doesn't make music, it's not because they can't. We all have some musicality in us somewhere. And people could argue with me like, no, they don't. They do. We do somehow.
Sure.
You may not be a singer, or you may not be a drummer, or you can find what aspect of you can be part of the success of art, or if that's what you want to do. But it's that first thought you had as a kid, wherever that started, where it's like, I think I could do that. Well, you can.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. And you're going to keep doing it because you're young.
Yeah.
And so the next 10 years, mark my words, are going to be the best 10 years.
I hope so, man.
And then the 10 years after that'll be even better.
Dude, that's the dream, you know?
But but you think it. I can tell you think it, so I already know it because you're here. Yeah. And it takes a lot to get here.
Yeah.
And I love your catalog. And that's 10 years of work.
Yeah.
But what happens after 10 years is you get faster, you get quicker at deciding.
Yeah.
You trust your instincts more, not less. Everything ramps up.
Yeah.
So if you allow it to and you go with it, you can be even more prolific and productive. But there's no time like the present to own that.
Right.
And so where a lot of people waste time, which is I'll waste anything but time.
Sure.
I'll waste some money. Yeah. I'll learn from my mistakes there. I'll waste a bunch of stuff, but I will not waste time. Time is the only thing we don't get back.
Yeah.
And so there's no time like the present to start doing something that, to get better at something, to start something that you had an inkling about.
Yeah.
And someone said this to me the other day. My friend Jed, actually, I think it was Jed, prolific author, right? I had the same conversation with him. Like, who told you that you could do this? That you could write New York Times best-selling novel?
Right.
Well, it was an inkling. It was a thought. It was a feeling. I think I could do that.
Yeah.
And then doing it. No time like the present. But he said, you'll find the things that love you back, and you'll end up loving them more, and they'll take you down the path. But you don't get those opportunities if you don't try things you're interested in, because your interest leads to your talent.
Right.
Like there's something that our subconscious is calling us to do things by these feelings we have. And so the reason your band is great is because you should be doing it. It's loving you back. The shows sell out. That's life saying yes.
Yeah.
Right? We all have to figure out what those things are in our life, but we won't unless we try things. It's just got to feel special. Yeah. Whatever that means. I don't even know what that means.
I feel you.
Because it's not like big. It doesn't have to feel big.
Right.
It's just got to feel.
Yeah, you know when you know.
Yeah.
When you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Will.
Yeah. Dude, a good Charlotte record with Will would be crazy.
Nuts. That would be nuts.
Oh, shit.
I actually love that idea.
Yo, that's fucking dope.
That would be sick.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome.
Thank you for saying that stuff, though.
Yeah, hey, I mean,
really nice.
I mean it, bro. It really is like a very special thing for me to even to be here, man.
It's special for me, man. I mean, it's a special thing we get to do.
Yeah.
And when you get to meet other people who are good at it, I think it's inspiring.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming.
Dude, thank you so much again for having me, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Dude. Come back when you guys make the next record.
I would love to. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yo, if you end up making a record with Will, I'll come hang out.
The conversation has started today.
Dude, yeah, man. Yeah. I'd love for that to happen. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, he rocks. Hell
Thanks,
yeah,
Pat.
Dude, thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Artist Friendly. If you really liked it, you can follow, like, subscribe to the show anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.
Bad times, I don't